Hey everyone, welcome back to Cloud Consultant YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about AWS DevOps Agents. First, we'll start with a comparison between Kiro, Cloud Code, and DevOps Agents. As we all know that Kiro and Cloud Code is a CLI autonomous AI agents tool, which you know act and perform the task autonomously. So what is main difference between both is Kiro and Cloud Code is like per engineer setup. Each SRE must individually configure the MCP connections and toolchain. It's context gap, no precision topology map. Then it's a reactive only. Require a human to initiate, copy paste the content. No retain learning. There is no beneficial of having a backdate incident that happened and you reach out, so it doesn't have the back memory to retain and start that work. Governance gap is a main area. So there is no centralized audit trail, which is a major concern when we started using this tool. Hidden cost is model tokens and engineering time to build, maintain and evaluate integration. So that's main. Whereas coming to AWS DevOps agents, it's a topology intelligence. Auto discover your entire AWS resources when you onboard that. So it get scanned your multi AWS accounts environment and calculate the dependencies and map the topologies accordingly. It has autonomous investigations, so which detect, diagnosis, and provide a resolutions quickly without human prompting. It continuously learn using your skills. So this is one of my favorite. Like, it learned from your back incidents and it gives you proactive recommendations, improvement gaps, and it also allows us to add a custom skills based on our organization standard and requirement. It has a minimal setup for teams, so admin configure it once and it can be shared across with your teams immediately. Governed, auditable, it is quite having all audit trails is there recorded. We have controls happening through the IAM access using IAM services. Agent space isolation, so it allows you to integrate certain MCPs with certain spaces. And it's quite cost optimized, uses base pricing, which credit faster query and no idle infrastructure cost. So the more you use this agents, it costed, otherwise no. Moving on to next slide. Generally the 5 phases are there for the incident management tool. So detection, investigation, recovery, post investigation, and improve. So whenever any incident happened, as an SRE, as an operational engineer, we go through this 5 stage: detecting, investigation, recovery, post incident, and improvement. Okay? And it takes quite time to reach to the recovery, and then doing a postmortem, and then preparing the improvement plan, which is where the DevOps agent comes as a helping hand. So it's an autonomous. Like AWS DevOps agent investigate the alert, instantly, whether it's a 2 a.m. or peak hour. No manual triage. It analyzes the root cause and restore optimal performance automatically. This definitely reduce the mean time to resolve. And think of this way, like, you expert on-call engineers is sitting there for who is available 24/7. So proactive incident prevention, the agent learns from a historical incident to identify recurring issues before they cause any outage. It delivered a lot of recommendations that prevent the future's problems and strengthen the system resilience. This shift your team from firefighting to proactive improvement. On-demand SRE task handling, AWS DevOps agents leverage a deep environment understanding to enable advanced analysis. It creates a custom chart, report, and tailored into your need, and it can share across your multiple channel. So this helps us to to prepare the post-mortem reports after the incident happened. Let's understand the system paradigm. So, what is the system overview? How the system is integrated, and what all brain it has. So, DevOps agent is a the heart of your operational infrastructure. It built on Amazon Bedrock as an AI engine. So, but and user access is through the two interfaces, that is a operator web app for investigations and preventions and management consoles for admin tasks. Everything flows through a secure authentication layer using IDC and identity provider. This ensures that only authorized user can interact with the system while maintaining an enterprise grade security. So, and if I go next, so integrations has a multiple layer. The agents connect seamlessly with your existing toolkit like DevOps toolchain, and it integrates with your ticketing system like ServiceNow, PagerDuty, communication platform like Slack, CI/CD tools. It includes GitHub, GitLab, and any observability platform such as Dynatrace, Datadog, Splunk. So it also it also support the custom uh, integration, like it supports OAuth 2.0 and API key, so we can bring multiple different integration using the MCP. So how this? So first of all, like what are type of agents under this? That's we have a generic agents that is being used for Q&A, questions and answer for your environment. There's a on-demand agents. There is incident triage agent, very important. It play a very important roles. Incident RCA agents and incident mitigation agents and evaluation agent, right? So these are the type, like almost 6 type of agents are built behind these DevOps agents. And how to trigger this investigations? So there are a couple of ways. So one is generic and integration webhook. Anyone wants to trigger this agent that can be triggered via the any webhook. It offers a webhook, can be used, and it supports certain payloads. So investigations start automatically in multiple sources like webhook from the ServiceNow, PagerDuty, Dynatrace trigger the investigation when problem occurs. You can manually start the investigation to the web app as well. This flexibility means that agent respond instantly to alert while giving you control to investigate specific issues on demand. The system adapt to how your team already work, right? So it these are the ways to trigger this agents and get the report generated. And then analyze an output, which is after the investigation done, right? So investigations start automatically from the multiple sources, webhook, ServiceNow, get through ServiceNow, PagerDuty, or any tool, like trigger it. And then it can also trigger to the like web app, right? So when the moment it's get triggered to the sources, the investigation start. Every investigation produce the comprehensive actionable result. You will get the immutable agents journal, like documenting all the reasoning steps for full transparency. Timeline and the root cause analysis shows exactly what happened, and what was the mitigations plan to overcome that issues. So based on the historical incident as well, it identify the patterns and deliver the recommendation to prevent any sort of future issues happen, to avoid any future issues. This agent can even auto share the context with AWS support cases. This output support both immediate response and long-term operational improvement. Let's walk through how incident response actually work with AWS DevOps Agent. Automatic investigations trigger. AWS DevOps Agents integrate with your ticketing tool, and it get alarms through services like ServiceNow, PagerDuty, CloudWatch Alarm, and the moment the alert fires, the agent automatically launches on in investigations. You don't have to manually trigger it always on. Comprehensive data correlation. The agent integrate with your observability tool like CloudWatch, Dynatrace, Datadog, Neuralink, Splunk, and as well as your code repository, and that is CI/CD pipeline in GitHub, GitLab. So it correlates the metrics log, traces any recent deployment happen, any code changes happen across your environment. As it investigate, it share its explode hypothesis, observe whatever observations and finding in the real time. What is really important to note from the an SRE perspective is that you can see its reasoning, not just the conclusion. So the root cause identification is through the systematic investigation. The agent identify the root cause, stemming from the system changes, any input anomalies happen, or any component failures, or any dependency issues there. So this all get accumulated during the root cause identifications. And so what is the mitigation plan? So detailed mitigation plan, the agent doesn't just tell you what's wrong. It provides you a specific actionable mitigation plan with implementation guidance. So in total, the collaboration escalation, as the investigation progress, agent automatically updates your ServiceNow tickets and update on Slack channel with the findings. So your engineer can interact with the agent directly through the DevOps agent as well, DevOps agent through web app. So asking any follow-up questions like about the previous incident and asking about what all recommendations, gaps. So this all context can be provided, using the web app of DevOps agent. And if the investigations surface something that require expert help, your team can create an AWS support case directly from within the investigations. With a single click, the agent automatically populates the case with these findings. So yeah, bottom line is you are on-call engineers. You're on-call engineers and wake up to any detailed investigation summary, not just alert. So proactive incident prevention, AWS DevOps Agent isn't only about investigation. It makes your team from reactive firefighting to a proactive operational improvement. Automatic weekly evaluations, the agent analyze the pattern across your historical incident and evaluate your environment on weekly basis. You can also trigger evaluation manually at any time. So the 4 categories of recommendations are observability posture, testing, like in infrastructure optimizations, then deployment pipeline enhancement, and application resiliency. Observability, like any missing alarm or any for example, identifying the missing critical metrics on the high traffic, or log retention policy causing a visibility gap. So this kind of issues can be captured. Testing gaps, for example, it can recommend the load testing on the API endpoint and frequently fails under the traffic spike. So there are many recommendations can be come up from the ops agents, and which is very useful when we want to do a proactive actions. On-demand SRE task handling. This chat interface has evolved into a powerful on-demand task agents. Like you can now ask the questions about your entire infrastructure and use it as on-demand SRE agent. So for example, like now, how many Lambda functions are using Python 3.6 version? And you get the answer. So if the Python 3.6 is getting deprecated, it's already deprecated. So within my infrastructure, having multiple accounts, it's going to be time taking for me. So this agent gives you information within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, across our environment. So any certificate is getting expired in 30 days. What is causing yesterday latency spike? Which institutions have below 10% utilization for the cost? So these are the simple use cases which gives the on-demand questions answered. So this isn't just the incident management agent. It's for understanding your architectures. It's understand your architecture, analyze your deployment pipeline, and getting insight about your observability posture. It is like, the senior DevOps engineer on call 24/7 who knows your environment entirely. So here is common problem: 5 alarm at once. Your team create 5 investigation. Uh, you know, Turns out like they are all little same cause, root cause, and you just waste a ton of time, investigating all 5 alarms. The triage agents solve this. As I mentioned about, we have almost 6 type of agents under the cloud and under the DevOps agents. So triage agent solves it, correlate the related incidents into a single investigation. You will see that link. You will see like link status. Uh, Showing which incident are connected and linked tasks doesn't start automatically. They are grouping with the primary investigation. This reduces the duplicate work and help you to prioritize. So you are not chasing 5 fire. You are solving one problem that manifests the 5 ways. Enterprise ready capabilities. So it is right now available in 6 regions, and I'm sure like this, it's going to scale. It has private MCP, connect your private MCP servers, secure access the internal tools, data. Security, it is having AWS custom. The encryption is allows you to encrypt your data conversation that happen using a customer managed key or AWS key. It has direct IDP integration, so your web app access can be accessed through the SAML or through your own IDP solutions. Okta support, to support the Entra support. The security is there in terms of authentications and authorization. Localizations, browse local detections, translate the agent response, global T enablement, and preferred language interaction. So it allows you to select specific language to communicate. So it has almost 12 to 15 language supported, I believe. Yeah. So best practices, environment separation. So this is most critical best practice. Walk through the mapping. I mean, each on a call team gets a dedicated agent space. Production on call map is to the production agent space with a production scope IAM, and non-prod map with a separate space, that is IAM policy on the right show how to use the resource tag and the enforces boundary. So this allows you to have isolation between which agent space. Right now, suppose production is only going to use for production investigations, and non-production is going to use for all non-production activity, right? So there's no mix match happening. It allows you to keep isolated between your the environment and integrations. So in non-product environments, you can give more permission to DevOps agent, but in the production environment, you cannot give just make it like read permissions, not allowing to give any write permissions. So it can be controlled through your sample IAM policy, the IAM policies. Access controls and security. This is one of best practices, as mentioned, that it suppose identity provider, Okta integrations. It suppose Entra ID, SAML 2.0 OIDC protocol, and single sign-on. So majorly all identity providers is support. And permission boundaries, least privilege access model, role-based access control, and resource-based filtering. Audit compliance, this is important. The CloudTrail logins for all actions. So whatever discussion is happening, investigation happens, everything is getting logged in a CloudTrail. Investigation audit role, immutable agent general, compliance reporting. Agent space template, multi-tenant deployment, metric monitoring, and common pitfall, right? So these are the best practices in terms of segregating your multi-agent space, multi-team deployment. So having one agent space per services, per applications, and then defining the metric and monitoring, track the investigation and count and durations, monitor the MTTR improvement, measure skills, Then common pitfall: avoid any single agent space for all the teams. That is correct. It should be multi-team, and it should be isolated for each and everyone separately. So it control the IAM permissions, and then missing integration rate limiting, no audit logging. So these are the common pitfalls to be avoided when you're setting up the agents space. So getting started with the agents, setting up AWS agent, it's just four steps. You just create agent spaces, navigate it to AWS console, and then create agents and connect your tools like DevOps, Datadog, Grafana, Dynatrace, and you run your first investigations. Then investigate the recent incident. So yeah, I think that's super easy to set up, and it supports multi AWS accounts, supposed also to onboard multi-cloud, like it supports right now Azure as a different cloud. So let's have one demo. So incident response. So this is a web app console of your AWS DevOps agents. So if you see this investigation, right, this investigation get completed through so this investigation completed through agents automatically get triggered whenever any alarms get hampered. If you see this, there was investigation started across analyzing the multiple systems, and like checking the database, DynamoDBs, consumption, CPU utilizations, and it detects a lot of findings, and it does a very deep level investigations in each layer. And after integrating, checking your code base, checking your recent commit, checking your recent push happened, it comes to the end conclusion of the root cause. Any manual console change, someone changed the DynamoDB on demand max, right? That was the finding, right? So it has given you the information about what root cause was to fix the issue. So in order to check this issue, for the human, it takes around 3 to 4 hours, to get investigation. But for the DevOps agent perspective, the RCA gets very quickly done, and so remediation is also planned very quickly. So our SLO and SLA is not getting impacted; is getting more improved the moment we transition to use the DevOps agents, AI agents in your infrastructure. Yeah, I think that's all from my side now. Understanding this was more of the DevOps agents presentation. In coming session, I'll be also going through some practical investigation on the DevOps agents, security agents, and also the FinOps agents. So recently, AWS had launched a FinOps agent as well. I will try to cover those topics as well. So yeah, stay tuned. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, any doubt, feel free to drop our comments, and see you in next video. Thank you.